Week 8, yay! So this is the last video post for the self-care class. Um, this last video discussion or post that we're doing has to concerns with basically developing a self-care plan for ourselves. Um, so I'm just going to jump into it because it's already almost 11:20, and if I want to get this turned in on time, I need to make it a quick one. So the first question, define why you feel that you personally need self-care from time to time. So why I need self-care from time to time is obviously to take care of myself, to prevent burnout or becoming overwhelmed with everything going on in my life. It's pretty easy, I think, for myself to neglect those things about myself, and to um, I failed to identify kind of how it snowballs into multiple areas of my life. So when I stop going to the gym or stop, um, actually taking lunch and doing that away from my desk without doing work, eating healthy, working out, all those things that I engage in for self care, I start to see various aspects of my life being impacted. More irritability, feeling tired, feeling overwhelmed more easily, not wanting to engage, with my family or my friends. So more of that isolation. Um, you know, Feelings of worth start going down. I start questioning myself more frequently. Um, just all of those things. So the importance of engaging in self-care from time to time is obviously to help reduce the likelihood of experiencing those things, to take time away from my day in order to care for myself. And so for me, self-care needs to be a daily thing, as much as possible. Right now, it's a little more difficult in this week. It's kind of been a hectic week. We have multiple people missing or several clinicians from our work over at another facility in Washington. And so we have all taken on some extra work, and somehow, like, we all of a sudden have like 20 assessments going on, or new intakes. And so that's been crazy. And then my wife was called to another part of the state for her work. And so it's just kind of, finals week. Yay. I'm sure you all can feel my pain. So that's kind of where it is. I hope I answered that question. Question 2, list at least 5 warning signs you can pick up on that cue you into the fact that you need to practice self-care. And so the things that I came up with, and I kind of already described some of them, that irritability. I tend to become more irritable, or my fuse is shorter. Less patience. I tend to be more quick to, kind of just like snap. Unfortunately, my family and children experience that. For simple things, sometimes I just, forget that they're children, and they need to act. They need to be children, and so just when I tend to, those were some of the things that I noticed. Like when I need self care is I'm becoming I get irritated at kids being kids, and that's not okay. So that's something I'm trying to be more aware of, obviously, and catch it in the moment. The second thing is choosing to eat unhealthy. So when I start to neglect my health, not going to the gym, or just I start noticing that I have more like cravings to go out to fast food. I think it's more, I want to eat those comfort foods, or the things that make me feel better, which unfortunately are the not so healthy things. One of the other things that I put as a warning sign that I might need self-care is falling behind in work. And so, I'm sorry, my dog's over there trying to play with the cat. So falling behind in my work, not getting things done that I would normally get done in time, just notes or things and anything like that. When I have a typical day, everything seems to go pretty smoothly. But when I start to become overwhelmed or feel like something is off, I notice it takes me a little bit longer to complete everything. And so that's part of it. The fourth part, not enjoying things as much. So, when I am more irritable, things like that, um, quicker to temper. I obviously don't enjoy spending time with my family as much. I get more irritable, and so it's just not a pleasure to be around. The last thing, 5, feeling tired more, um, feeling tired more than not throughout the week. So obviously, self-care. Part of the self-care would be gaining good sleep. That's part of the healthy aspect of life, right? Um, as well as working out and having good nutrition. And so when I start to feel tired more frequently throughout the week, I know that something is off, and so that will be a kind of a warning sign. Question 3. We have learned practice different methods of self-care this semester. Please make a list of at least 7 things you can do for self-care when you determine that you need it. So the 7 things that I came up with were mindfulness exercises, body scans, just walking meditations, things like that. Listening/reading to a book for fun rather than textbooks. I enjoy doing this when I am not in school, and so it's something I need to continue to engage in. Listening to podcasts was another thing that I enjoy. I have a storyline that I've been listening to for the last, 6 months or so, and I just discovered it, and so I'm really far behind. They're actually they started in 2013, or 12, and so they have up till 2017 or current, and so they're continuing to put it out. So I have a lot to listen to. Working with my hands / projects. So, like I said, probably in previous discussion board posts, I really enjoy working with my hands. It just that instant gratification kind of thing really hits home with me. So the next one is spending time with my family. So I really enjoy spending time with my family, being able to just be present with my wife and my kids. They're both really young, and so it's awesome to be able to see kind of that growth, their cognition just exploding, and how they day to day their vocabulary, their ability to identify things is just awesome, and so I really enjoy that aspect. Going out for a night of fun with my wife. So right now in school and work, and both of us work quite a bit. It's just hard to really find a time that we can spend together, and so that would be something I would really like to do regularly. I also put camping and working out. I think as part of the self-care, I get so caught up in gadgets and my dog is going crazy over here. I'm on the computer all day at work, and then I come home and I'm on it all day at school or for school, and obviously other gadgets such as phones and things like that. So camping allows me to just disconnect from all that and kind of reset all my levels, and then working out helps me kind of maintain that physical nutrition or physical well-being and things. Question 4, make a list of 3 people you can contact if you need support or distraction. So the 3 people that I listed, outside of obviously my wife, because she's a huge support for myself, but when things get rough at home or something like that, or she's not always available, then I seek outside help. So the 3 people on my list to call would include my mom, my sister, and my friend Josh. And so I can call my mom when I'm having a bad day because she provides support and encouragement. Plus, she's a social worker and knows what to say. That's what I wrote down here. I can call my friend Josh when I'm upset because I'm able to get my mind off of things, and we are able to catch up on kind of the daily life, what's been going on. We don't get a lot of opportunity to communicate with each other. We both have pretty busy lives, and so when we are able to reach out and talk to each other, it's good just to catch up and get my mind off of what's going on. And then I said I can call my sister or Bessie when I'm struggling with school and start to feel overwhelmed. And the reason for this is because she is the only other person outside of my mom who has gone to school in or higher education out of our entire family. And so it's just somebody to share the experience with who can say, I know what you're going through. Remember that time, my sister and I actually were in school at the same time for the first couple of years. I went in, as I started college, she had 2 years left. And so there was like a 2-year overlap where I was in school and she was in school. And so we used to call each other actually weekly and just kind of go back and forth on some of the stressors that we were experiencing in life in school. And so that would be, that's one of my resources too, is just because I can reach out to her and she knows, what I'm going through. Make a list of 5 positive things to say to yourself when you are in times of stress. So the examples that I came up with, and the thing that immediately hit me is like in groups and things like that when I'm facilitating, immediately when somebody says like I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm not good enough, is I make them do 5 affirmations. And so I'm kind of going off of that. I didn't give examples of like when I think this is how I can change it. But that would be the idea of it, is that, if I start to doubt myself or something, I'll just read what I wrote on my list, and then, I guess I'll see if it's correct. So one would be, though I am struggling to get everything done on time, I am still a good student/worker. So the idea behind that is obviously I'm turning things in at like the last minute, and I guess my idea is that you shouldn't be doing that. You have a certain time frame to get things done, and obviously if you fall within that time frame, you're okay. But when I push it to the last minute, like I'm doing with this video, I get a lot of stress, and you can probably sense that from the quickness of my speech. The second part, or the second part of that would be, even though I am not always even though I'm even though I'm not always present for my family, I am still a good father and husband. So sometimes I get into that self-doubt, I start worrying about, how my presence is going to, or my lack of presence is going to affect my kids. And so identifying this is just for a short time, and that it'll be over soon enough is kind of where I'm coming from with that. Number 3, I may not always be able to help my extended family, but I am still a good son/brother. So there are times that my family reaches out to help with, watching kids or moving, painting, doing whatever, pretty much. And there's sometimes I just have to say no. And I mean, that's for my self-care partially, but I still need to recognize that, I'm still a good son and brother. Number 4, even though I may not always know what to do in every situation, I'm still a competent social worker. So obviously, at the master's level, I don't have a lot of social work experience to begin with. I graduated with my undergrad in 2015 and have been working in the field since then, but that's 2 years. Coming up on 3 years, but I've worked in two different fields now, with the disability population, and then, or developmentally disabled individuals, and then with substance abuse or addiction. And so I obviously still have a lot of experience, or a lot of things to gain from those areas. And so when I'm presented with a situation I've never faced before, it makes me question myself, or like, did I do the right thing? And just knowing that even though I may not always make the right decisions, I'm still competent and capable of doing the work that I'm doing. Number 5, I may have made mistakes in my past, but I am still a good person. Or even though I may have made mistakes in my past, I am still a good person. I try to get rid of those buts, because everything after that is just kind of like not. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, obviously my past has led me to where I am today. But there are still times where things surface from my past, when I'm looking for jobs or something like that, um, they just question things about, some mistakes I have made. And so recognizing that even though I've made those mistakes, I'm still a good person, and I'm not who I was back then. So question number 6, make a list of who, 2 or 3, and what, 4 or 5, to avoid when you are having a hard time. So when I am having difficulty with my mother-in-law, I will not call my mom. She has a tendency to see my side of things and not the entire story, because obviously I'm telling things from my perspective and not from the entire perspective, even though sometimes my mother-in-law and I do not always agree. I still shouldn't vent that to my mom. And then the second part, when I am overwhelmed at work, I will not vent to my coworkers who are also overwhelmed. Just sometimes, and this really stems from this week, just it's been nonstop back to back since Monday, with either assessments, individuals like case management appointments, orientations. It's just been insane this week. And when you add that on top of it's finals week and my wife's gone, like it just is all piling up right now. And so having the self-care in place is good. So those are the 2. Really, I couldn't think of a third because I guess I don't know. I have a really supportive family. I'm sure if I really spend significantly more time thinking about it, I can come up with another one. But I just couldn't think of a third. 4 to 5 things to avoid when you're having a hard time. So I should avoid fast food places because, like I said, I eat my feelings. Isolation from my family, so I have a tendency to just go and lay in my bed, for a short time. And so like 10-15 minutes, but that's my isolation from them. So I should not do that. I should not sit around watching Netflix all day. So when I'm having a hard time, sometimes it's just easy to put on television show or something for my family to just watch and just veg out. That might be okay sometimes, but we don't watch a lot of television, so I think it could be detrimental. 4, I should not buy things that I do not need to make myself feel better. So that instant gratification again, right? Coming in, so just looking at things and saying, ooh, I could use that, but do I really need it, or is it going to improve where I'm at right now, or am I just buying it for myself to feel good? So that self-reflection part and identifying what is the real purpose behind it. 5, I should not buy junk food from the store. So again, it comes back to, that first one, fast food. We go grocery shopping every week. And so buying stuff I don't need. A lot of what I really like is the fruit snacks and things like that. And then I'll eat like 4 or 5 packages, which, I mean, it's like 600 or 700 calories, and it's not really worth it. So just stuff like that, chips, candy bars, whatnot. I don't need it. And so the last part lists 3 places you can go when you are stressed out, where you feel safe and relaxed. So the only real place that I feel safe and relaxed is my home, because it's my home. It's where I come to decompress. And so, more specifically, I guess in my home, I can go to my room in order to kind of decompress at the end of the day, or just to kind of get away from everything. I can go into the yard and do chores, so that helps me. I know it doesn't seem very relaxing, but at the end of the day, like I said, I really enjoy working with my hands and doing those kinds of things, and so that would be a way for me to relax or decompress. And then again, in the garage, working on stuff. And so I don't know if it's just a guy thing, but I think every guy in my family has always found something to do in the garage, working on random things, finding some kind of project. There's always something you can tinker with or mess around with. And so those would be kind of my places to isolate really from everybody and everything, to just kind of give myself time to process and think about kind of what's going on in my life and the situation. So that is it. I hope I answered all the questions. Again, my video is probably way longer than it needs to be, and it's probably going to be late because it's 11:37. So, all right, that's all I have. It was good having everybody in class. See ya.